After the conclusion of the Great War, and following an unsatisfactory peace, rampant inflation, and an unprecedented economic crisis, Germany found itself on its knees. Despite being a nation with immense economic potential due to the factories and industries that still remained, Germany had become nothing more than a mere shadow of its former monarchy. However, between 1933 and 1941, Germany accomplished what it had failed to achieve in the previous war. It now possessed a newly built army, considered unstoppable, one that operated with precision, speed, and coordination, catching the major European powers off guard. By the end of 1941, nearly all of Europe had fallen under the control of Germany and its allies. German soldiers could see Moscow's skyline from a distance. Nearly all predictions pointed toward an inevitable German victory. But how had this all come to be? Was it solely the efficiency of the German army? Or was it a combination of factors, including strategic planning or even sheer luck? The Third Reich, the aftermath of World War I, threw Germany into a period of turmoil, a situation that much of Europe assumed would prevent the country from becoming a military powerhouse again in the near future. But they were mistaken. Germany's ability to rebuild its military strength was deeply tied to the rise of the Third Reich. But before this resurgence, there was a dramatic decline, one that unfolded with the events of the Weimar Republic. At the end of the First World War, Kaiser Wilhelm II faced intense backlash and mounting pressure from both the general public and his own military. On November 9, 1918, he was forced to abdicate, and the following day, a provisional government was formed, comprised of members from the Social Democratic Party and the Independent Social. Shortly into Ebert's presidency, the Treaty of Versailles was signed, reducing the German military to just 100,000 men. Furthermore, Germany was forced to accept full responsibility for World War I, pay hefty reparations, and surrender various territorial holdings. This treaty proved to be a devastating blow to the newly formed Weimar Republic, and soon after, the country was hit with yet another challenge, hyperinflation and the Great Depression. For many working-class Germans, this became a turning point, one that led them to view Adolf Hitler and his party as a beacon of hope. With growing concerns that the Weimar Republic could be overrun by communists, the German people turned to an alternative, one that quickly rose to power, becoming the largest political party in parliament by 1932. The following year, Adolf Hitler was elected as Germany's new chancellor. Rebuilding the army the first few weeks of Hitler's term proved to be highly influential, marking a drastic shift in Germany's path toward reconstruction. The new chancellor and his party had a clear vision, one that had been foreshadowed in his speeches and written work. It had to begin from within, so the regime worked to consolidate its power through propaganda and legislative actions. Following this, the rebuilding of the army commenced, in direct defiance of the Treaty of Versailles. The next step was to annex German-speaking territories, either through diplomacy, influence, or military intervention. Meanwhile, with an expanding military and increased industrial production, the ultimate objective was to eliminate the strongest regional rival, France. To begin, Article 48 was invoked, significantly rolling back progress on civil rights and clamping down on the Communist Party. Then, Hitler's military strength. One of the most well-known military reforms under the new chancellor was the formation of the Wehrmacht. Established in 1935, this unified military force of the Third Reich consisted of the Army, Navy, and Air Force. The new military far exceeded the limitations imposed by the Treaty of Versailles, leading to a radical surge in defense spending and the reintroduction of conscription. The chancellor firmly established himself as the supreme authority over the armed forces, requiring every military commander to answer directly to him. Despite skepticism and internal opposition from some commanders, the army successfully reoccupied the Rhineland, an industrialized region that was crucial for the future war effort. The annexation of Austria, the Sudetenland, and Czechoslovakia further strengthened Germany's economy and production capabilities. At the time, the Allies pursued a policy of appeasement, and those within the Wehrmacht who had doubted the Chancellor's ambitions were thus far proven wrong. Public support for the new regime soared, and any opposition was effectively silenced. Even the handful of generals and soldiers who had been uncertain about the Chancellor's leadership were now willing to back his war plans following his territorial successes. With a fully equipped and battle-ready army, Germany was poised to invade Poland. Riding on a wave of momentum, the primary objective, beyond reclaiming territory lost due to the Treaty of Versailles and expanding further, was to avoid a prolonged war at all costs. To achieve this, Germany adopted a new military strategy known as Blitzkrieg or Lightning War. While not an entirely new concept, this strategy bore similarities to the approach used in the First World War, seeking to defeat enemies swiftly and decisively, as Germany was ill-suited for a long drawn-out war against larger, better prepared. But now, the German army had access to modern military technology, including faster and more advanced tanks, motorized vehicles, aircraft, and radios. These innovations, coupled with the element of surprise, speed, mobility, concentrated attacks, and strategic encirclements, transformed traditional military tactics into a devastatingly modern form of warfare. Not only did the Blitzkrieg appear effective in theory, it proved to be incredibly successful in practice. Germany employed this strategy during the invasion of Poland, triggering the start of World War II, and again when engaging enemy forces in Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, France, Yugoslavia, and Greece within the first 2 years of the conflict. The Blitzkrieg tactic was instrumental in Germany's early victories, allowing them to quickly dismantle enemy forces by concentrating powerful offensive attacks at weak points in enemy defenses. Once a breach was created, armored tank divisions would penetrate deep behind enemy lines, causing widespread confusion and disarray. While the enemy struggled to reorganize, the German Air Force ensured that reinforcements were unable to reach the front lines. As more and more troops poured into the breached areas, the enemy was left with little time to react, forcing many to surrender after being completely encircled. This strategy proved particularly devastating against the French, who were caught off guard by the speed of the German invasion through the Ardennes forest. With the fall of France, Germany had accomplished many of its primary goals, leaving the Soviet Union as the final obstacle in its bid for European domination. On June 22, 1941, Operation Barbarossa was launched with Joseph Stalin initially skeptical of the possibility of a German attack. Even after receiving intelligence reports, was caught off guard. By the time Soviet forces fully grasped the scale of the threat, Germany had already secured a significant upper hand through its rapid offensive. Yet, after 3 months of battle, the effectiveness of Blitzkrieg had waned. The vast size of the Soviet Union, the harsh winter, and well-prepared Soviet defenses halted Germany's advance. As time passed, the Germans lost the element of surprise and momentum, now facing a much larger, industrially capable opponent supported by powerful allies. From this point forward, the tide of the war shifted against Germany. Germany's initial military success in World War II was due to a variety of factors: a fanatical drive for continental